Okay, this is a quick little how-to on how to create a magic square to answer a question based on what you're given versus what we know about a reaction. So the reaction that you guys picked was copper plus silver nitrate gives us silver plus copper 2 nitrate. So our first step that we need to do is to get that balanced chemical equation. Okay? So we'll start off with the word equation, copper plus silver nitrate. Now on my board here I write the anion below. Don't do that. Okay, write it above. Silver nitrate and gives us silver plus copper 2 nitrate. Okay. Do we want to use a different color for the equation? We'll use a color for the equation. Let's use a color for the real. Okay? So what do you want to use for the equation? What color? Blue? You got it. Okay. So first things first, we've got to write our chemical reaction out. So Cu plus AgNO3 gives us Ag plus CuNO3 2. Now, you might have to take a little bit more time than I did, but that's because I got to grade 25 with this stuff, so, you know, it goes a bit quicker. All right? We have to have a balanced chemical equation. That's so important. So there's 2 nitrates, so we have to have 2 Ags there, and we got 2 there. Now, what we see from this, when we write our number of moles here, and we write our mass here, oh, sorry, I meant to do that in blue. Thank you. So, in our equation, number of moles, and our mass in grams, moles there. So, copper, how many do we have? How many moles? Shout it out. We got 1. How many moles of silver nitrate react with 1 mole of copper? 2. Good, 2 moles. How many moles of silver come out the other end? 2. And how many moles of copper nitrate? 1. Great. Now we have to create or identify our masses. So we look to our big periodic table, which we all agreed on, and we can round off to 2 decimal places because that's all that our triple beam balance is. This would be 63.55. So if I said to you, I would like 1 mole of copper, you would say no problem, and you would go weigh out 63.55 on the balance. No problem. Now AgNO3 is going to take a bit of doing, so here's what we got to do. We got to take our oxygen, right? So you got to go bracket. One sec. So bracket 3 times 15.9994 plus nitrogen, which is 14.00674 plus silver, Ag 107.8682 equals that, and then you have to multiply that by 2. And you'll find that we get 339.75 grams. So if I said I would like 2 moles of silver nitrate, that's what you would put onto the triple beam balance, and you would have yourself a nice 1 to 2, and this would work out perfectly, okay? If that's what we were doing. So we could think of the equation reaction kind of like an ideal, like it's like your standard. Like, you know, if I want to make 1 car, if I want to make a Corvette, how many doors do I need? A Corvette, 2, right? How many wheels do I need? 4, right? How many spare tires do I need? 1, right? So that's kind of our ideal, right? We need 1 body, obviously, right? Okay, so 2 silvers now, coming out the other end. The mass of silver, 107.8682 times 2 is 215.74. Nitrate. Okay, so we got to go 3 times 15.9994 plus nitrogen, 14.00674 equals that. We're going to multiply that beast by 2 plus the mass of copper, which is 63.546. All right. So 187.56 grams. All right. Let's use a different color. We'll use green for what we really have. Now, what were we really given? Were we given N or M? Alfredo came up with a question. I said, give me an amount that we would really have. And he said, if you had 4 moles of copper. Fine. So we're going to use this. We'll use N. And we know that that's moles. And Alfredo gave us N. Okay, so we're going to have another layer here of N and M. Okay, blue and green. So far, so good? Okay, so what goes where? Does anything go here? Well, he gave us 4 moles of what substance? Copper. So we put what here? A 4 goes there. Okay? What are you being asked for? Yeah, when we set up our question, right, when I was teaching you how to create the problem, I said, well, ask me for something. And somebody said, how much silver? And I said, grams or moles? And somebody said, moles. So we can stay in this lane here, no problem. So then we can throw like a question mark right there. And that's what's required. Okay? So, our next step is to set up the magic square. So our magic square is going to look like this. I want to know, because we're dealing with the real here, how many moles of silver if I've been given a certain number of moles of copper. And I can compare that reality to our nice equation here. So I can go N of Ag and N of Cu. And so what we see is this is going to stay as is, because that's our target, N of Ag. And what goes underneath that now? What do we really have? 4. For what? Moles, yes. You got to keep your units, because we can switch our units from grams to moles and moles to grams back and forth. And I'll teach you how to do that. Yay! I know it's exactly what you want. All right, so how many moles of silver in the equation, right? So we got our real and we got our equation part of the magic triangle. How many moles of silver were coming out the other end? 2. Good. 2 moles. Good. And how many moles of copper in our equation? How many moles of copper? Let's look back. 1. Okay. Now, you should be able to do this like just by looking at it, but I'm going to draw out the cross multiplication just so we have good practice. It's always good to write out those extra steps, because if you make a calculator boo-boo down the road later on, I'll actually be able to see it and I can give you credit for work done. Okay? Okay, and we should know that those cancel out, but look, lo and behold, you're left with the unit of moles. And so how many moles of silver would you get coming out the other end? 8. And that's how to set up a magic triangle. We have some variations. I could have asked for grams. How many grams of silver came out the other end? In which case you would figure out how many moles, and then we convert with moles to grams using that magic triangle, which you've yet to see. And that's what we'll look at next. But we'll do another practice question. I'll post this. You can view this little how-to. So we're going from the equation into reality. That's the green space, right? Green is good. Blue is cool. All right. And we can set up our magic square and solve for the substance that we're chasing.